The Dentalpreneur Podcast. Okay, doctor, it's time to put down that handpiece. You're listening to the show dedicated to helping dentists get their lives back. It's time to decrease your stress, increase your profitability, and regain your passion. Now introducing your host, Dr. Mark Costas.
Hello, everyone. Welcome to another episode of the Dentalpreneur Podcast. I'm your host, Dr. Mark Costas. What is up, my friends? Hey, guys, I'm super excited because I'm getting to spend some quality time with two friends of mine, Dr. Jared Hill and Dr. Dan Nelson. They are the founders of the Dental Legacy Foundation, the driving force behind the awesome Tanzania project, mission project that I was able to attend in January of 2024. These guys are up to some big things in addition to running a very successful dental practice in Idaho. So without further ado, what's up, fellas? How you doing, Dan?
Doing great, man. Thanks for having us on again.
Yeah,
excited to catch up and let you know what we're up to and doing well.
I can't wait. I got lots to share as well. Jared, what's happening, buddy?
Hey, Mark, it's just a pleasure to be on here with you today. Thank you.
Yes, of course, of course. Okay, so first and foremost, I got to tell you guys that, I took this podcast audience along on the journey with me to Tanzania, the build up for it, and the recaps of the incredible experience that I had there in Itigi and Mulongwe. And that in large part is because of all the hard work that you guys put into the mission project before I was ever able to attend. So the fact that you guys were able to build this sustainable clinic out there in Itigi at that teaching hospital there it's a huge feat. We are currently in the process of building one out, or in the very early processes of building one out in Mexico, in La Cruz, which is just outside of Puerto Vallarta. We have a fixed facility that we're going to be constructing very soon. And just the logistics of trying to figure out how to manage a construction project, how to locate something, locate a venue, and to get all the equipment there, which we already have access to, has been a lot of logistics. And to imagine you guys doing that and getting everything to Tanzania, which was for me a 40-hour journey away from where I live, I just had to take my hat off to you guys, because like this facility in La Cruz is literally a 2.5-hour flight from my house, and I'm finding the logistics to be quite challenging. So thank you guys for kind of showing me what's possible. I couldn't wait to get on the air with you guys and just let you know what my plans are for 2025. But I also want to give you guys full props for being able to do it in such a remote location and with such success. So to both of you, thank you guys for showing me what's possible.
Absolutely.
Thank you, Mark. Thank you very much.
Yeah. So let's start with you, Jared. What's happening? What's new with Dental Legacy Foundation? What's new with the practice? What's new in your life? Let's just do a full recap.
Absolutely. Yeah. So as far as the Dental Legacy Foundation goes, it was to set up that first clinic was unbelievable. When we look back on it, we still wonder exactly how it happened. We remember being on Zoom calls talking with the local workers who were going to set up the clinic for us, and they speak Swahili, and we obviously don't speak any Swahili, so we're trying to translate through Google Translate and so forth, trying to talk about compression and suction and water and air and vac and all that sort of thing. We at the end of the conversations, we were like, we have no idea if this is going to turn out or not. We're just going to show up and we'll see, and that's exactly what happened. We just showed up and through a series of serendipitous events, somehow it all came together. But you're right, it was a chore, it was a task, but it's something that we would do, of course, just over and over again. It's been incredible for us. But so we just got, as a matter of fact, Dr. Nelson, Dan got back from a trip just a couple of weeks ago from Tanzania.
Oh.
So I'll turn it over to him, let him talk about that. But I'm taking also a group of new volunteers over to Itigi, Tanzania in about 3 weeks. We're going to head over the Thanksgiving break, and we're going to take about 30 people over there and hopefully do a lot of good. And we got that going on. So I'll let Dan give the most recent report, because he was there. Like, he's probably still a little jet lagged. He still has a little a little dizziness from the long flight, right, Dan?
Yeah, but not enough to keep him from being just the handsomest guy. Look at this guy over here.
I know, right? I know, seriously.
Yeah, we don't talk about the dizziness from travel. It doesn't happen. I'm sure it's something else. Yeah, we got back. We had a really successful trip. Got back a little over a week ago and spent 2 weeks over there. Working out of the 2 clinics that we've been able to build out with the help of the hospital over there. And it's been awesome. We, per the usual, we had a nice patient flow and we're able to do some good. This was a little bit unique. One of our goals with the Dental Legacy Foundation has been to get these clinics to be self-sufficient. And to do that, we've tried to get a Tanzanian dentist to be in residency there. And they have been able to hire somebody full time. He actually works 7 days a week.
Wow.
He's on call 24/7, literally on call 24/7. And his name's Dr. Joseph. And so they've been able to bring him in. He's been an amazing addition over there. And so this one was unique in that we weren't just providing service. We were working hand in hand with Dr. Joseph, doing some training, cross training, just discussing his vision for the clinics and what he feels, we need to be doing. And so this was a boon. This was a huge deal for us because now we're transitioning in a very, very short amount of time into accomplishing a big part of our goal in the Itigi Hospital at St. Gaspar Hospital. So that was a huge deal for us, and it was really fun to be working, shoulder to shoulder with Dr. Joseph. The other thing that was a bit honestly upsetting and startling was I didn't know. I've seen a couple tumors in the times that I've been over there, and this last trip we had a young 18-year-old good-looking guy come in, and initially I thought, oh my gosh, this guy's going to need an IND. He's all swollen. And then as we got looking, became very obvious that this was a tumor, probably OKC or myxoma, something along those lines. And I turned to Dr. Joseph and I see it after we were done with the patient. I said, how often have you seen this? And he got his phone out and he showed me 5 cases from the last month.
Whoa.
Which was really upsetting. That was something that was shocking. And he said, we don't, we're now we deal with this quite a bit. And so, I don't think I was mentally prepared for that. In our practice here, we rarely, if ever, see something like that. So, to know that it's happening and to know that, we can contribute and help out to treat these patients was a huge deal. And it really spoke to the power of having our clinic in a hospital. So it was special, but also hard in that sense. We brought a couple of new people with us on this trip. And one of the docs that came with us is down in Arizona practicing. She's fantastic. And one of the things she likes to do, she specializes in doing cosmetic direct veneers. And so she's gone to a lot of courses with that. And we had a pharmacy tech, this 21-year-old pharmacy tech, very beautiful girl. But she had really bad fluorosis and was extremely she was so self-conscious of her smile that she would cover her teeth up. And Dr. Bryn was able to give her some incredible direct veneers and just change this girl's life. And we were able to work, Dr. Robin that came with us, Dr. Robin Call, she was able to work on another case very similar with Dr. Joseph side by side to do another case that was very similar and life-changing for the guy that they did that for. So really cool trip. We were able to go into some places that I didn't think we would get to this fast into how many times, we've been. We're so young and we're such a new organization, but man, it's awesome to see the ball, rolling and gaining momentum.
That's beautiful, man. I love that so much. So I'll just share some of my experience and it relates to kind of what you're talking about here, Dan. And our most recent mission trip that we went on was to Fiji. You guys probably saw some pictures and video. Amazing facility there in Fiji. And it was founded by an ophthalmologist who's married to a dentist. So they built this gorgeous 4-operatory facility in Fiji. And half of it is OR / optical. So they have optometrists go there and do glasses. And then they also do light ophthalmology surgery, but they also do general surgery. So they have lots of different groups of medical professionals rotate through. And we were one of the dental groups that came through, and we saw 650 patients, and we did a ton of dentistry. But relating to what you're talking about is a lot of the people that had come to the dental clinic were referred over to the general surgery area, and they were able to remove tumors from the head and neck 2 weeks before we got there. So we were working on teeth, and we were looking at people that had scars on their faces, or still even some sutures on the back of a couple people's necks, and on the jawline of a couple other people, where the general surgeons were able to eradicate some pretty aggressive tumors. So it's really cool when you have a facility that has the ability to do that. And that leads to my next point. And my next point is that you guys actually turned me on to this different view of mission dentistry, these sustainable type clinics, right? So, I always felt funny about going into an area when I was doing different mission trips, and you do a ton of good and everybody is so happy that you're there. And then you're packing up and they're like, when are you coming back? It's like, well, maybe never, maybe nobody ever will. So you did a lot of good for those people that were lucky enough to stumble into your clinic when you happened to be there, but there's no plan for sustainability. When I went to the dental legacy trip there in Tanzania, the fact that you guys had a working clinic inside a hospital, that kind of got it changed my view of what was possible. So we have a very well-funded group in Smile Outreach International, but now we're interested in creating more sustainable clinics. We have found a clinic that's very similar to the Fiji clinic in the Dominican Republic, and Shine has come on board. Shine Cares has come on board, and they want to rotate some dental students through from the Capital Dental School there through this area. They're going to support us in outfitting the place with full technology. They're like, that's really cute what you do with dentures, Mark. How about we bring some 3D printers out there and you do some like customized milled dentures instead of prefabricated dentures. And so they want to support us in that, in fabricating partials and dentures. They're going to give us sensors and chairs and, the full gambit of like a fully technologically driven dental clinic. And then we want to do what you guys have done in Tanzania and find a handful of dentists that are able to kind of watch the facility and pre-op, post-op, and ongoing care there. And that was all because of you guys and what you guys had shown me was possible in Tanzania. We're going to be able to do that in Dominican Republic. And we're also going to be able to build a sustainable clinic in Mexico. So my idea is not just to go out and gather some funds and give some, student scholarships to go help in remote areas. But I still want to do that. But what really is going to be the thrust and our focus and our mission is evolving a little bit, is to making sustainable clinics in as many different places as we can. So great job, man. That's amazing.
Thank you. Yeah, it's a game changer. It really is when the focus is shifted to getting someone to stand on their own feet and not be reliant on, and charity is a huge deal and it's a huge blessing. But the fact is there's so much need everywhere that the more that we can create a sustainability model, the better off those communities are going to be. And it, not just that, but it infuses, it gives a bit of an IV to the economy in those areas too. So it's if you go big picture, it's really phenomenal. I'm pumped that you're doing that stuff in South or Central America. It's going to be, I'm telling you, it's awesome. It's so cool.
I'm so excited. I can't even tell you. I mean, that's the only thing I want to ever focus on now. It's so addictive that it takes a lot of focus, but it's so rewarding at the end of the day. It's so different than private practice. It's like, oh my God, I'm just filling my cup. 1,000 times over. And another cool thing that we stumbled across is I have a great friend that I met on the Dominican trip. She's a pediatric dentist, and she does her own little pop-up clinic in the Philippines. She's half Filipino and I'm full Filipino, but she has created this little pop-up clinic in this tiny little town in the Philippines that is built around a trash dump. So these people live off of the discards of the community, right? So these old ladies will go around and they'll pick up like pieces of chicken or other food that has been discarded, and that's what they feed this whole village with. And so, of course, that causes a whole host of health problems, and it's a very unhealthy population. But that's how they survive. And she goes out into the roughest of conditions, and she's living under these conditions with these people. And I just can't even imagine how difficult that must be. I mean, when we're in Tanzania, we're staying in beautiful dorms. And when we're in the Dominican Republic, we're staying in, it's not quite as fancy as Tanzania, but it's a long stretch from living on a trash dump for a couple weeks, right? So she went out there, and she has been going long enough that she was able to, quote unquote, adopt one of these little girls. And this little girl was fascinated with her ability to heal and how she had become a dentist. And Sissy, my friend, said, if you commit to me and you come and help me every time I come here, I will support you in going to dental school. So this kid is now going to dental school through Sissy's foundation, and she's going to be able to. But what my friend asked her to do is commit to serving this community as a dentist after she graduated. So Sissy committed to paying for her dental school, supporting her through dental school if she committed to coming back and serving that community as a dentist. And our Dominican project has been going, this is going to be our 42nd year. I've been going this will be my 8th year going. And we had these little kids that we have pictures like from way back in the 80s when these kids would this was before, you had loops and you could put, your light on your forehead. These little kids would hold the lights for the volunteers, and they'd pick up trash, and they'd help keep the pop-up clinics clean and stuff. Well, a handful of them decided that they wanted to be dentists, and our mission project was able to send them through dental school. And they are the Dominican dentists that come back, and they work with us hand in hand every year when we go back to the Dominican Republic. So those are just some other examples of like dental school in those communities is totally affordable. It's nothing compared to what we pay. But if you are able to take some people on and support them through the whole process of becoming a licensed dentist in their country, and then they can be the people that are looking out for your mission for generations. It's just a whole other level of giving that is, it takes the word sustainable to another level.
There are so many people out there that are doing so many good things. It's incredible, Mark. Thanks for sharing that.
Yeah.
And, what's interesting is also there's maybe a little bit of a misconception about some of these humanitarian trips and what happens on there. So we often have a specialist will ask, well, I'm an orthodontist, there's nothing that I can do there. Well, with these models, the ones that you're talking about, as far as the sustainability goes, we've had a little bit of a mind shift change with ours too, is we don't go just to do the quantity of extractions or fillings or anything. Initially we did. Initially we just needed to see as many people as we could. But now that we have a dentist there, on this trip in November, we're taking an oral surgeon, we're taking an orthodontist, we're taking a pediodontist, and we're going to spend each one of those specialists will spend one day dedicated to training the local dentist that's over there. So, Monday's going to be the oral surgery day. He's already prepped. He knows he's going to bring in his surgery cases that he needs help with. Tuesday, he wants to learn orthodontics. And so he's going to bring a couple patients in, and the orthodontist is going to walk him through some simple, orthodontics. And so it's a very interesting and sustainable, we have access to everything here in the United States. We're fighting, we're competing with access to everything, but there there's just no access. And so for us to go there and spend a day with them and just train them and teach them, it empowers that community so much. And our goal is to build more clinics across Tanzania right now, is, using the same model of going to these teaching hospitals. Hopefully they've got a room for us. And that's where Ryan is right now. Ryan's been over there for about a month, and he's just going around the country of Tanzania, meeting people, making those base connections that we need in order to progress. But I can't wait to come serve in one of your clinics, Mark. I mean, they sound like it's going to be awesome. It's going to be so cool.
Yeah. I mean, you guys are welcome all the time. I mean, that's the whole idea, right? Is to be able to set up the systemization and be able to rotate whatever great charitable group wants to rotate through, right? So, we have this this kind of brotherhood with Smile Outreach and Dental Legacy Foundation now, where, gosh, I would love for you guys to come to any of our established trips once we get them going. And I would love to be able to send our Smile Outreach people through with you guys. It's just, I mean, this is exactly what it's all about. There's no turf wars here. It's like the more people we can help, the better. And another thing that you guys kind of opened my eyes to was like, oh my gosh, I did a ton of endo, not a ton, but more than a handful of endo cases when I was out there with you guys in Tanzania. And we did 27 endos in Fiji, because you guys showed me that it was possible on a mission trip. And like, I'm not going to be taking out, 6 through 11 ever again if they're savable with endo. Like there's so many people that were so thrilled that we were able to do an endo and put a nice little composite on the face of that, instead of having, an upper anterior tooth that's now missing for the rest of their life. So, I mean, like, hopefully you guys can learn some things that we stumble across as far as things to do on mission trips. And I've definitely learned so much from what's possible from you guys. I'd love to talk about, what you guys have planned for future mission trips, and what exactly Ryan does to break down some of the or at least open up, not break down, but open up some doors for expansion.
Yeah. So,
go ahead, Jared.
I was just gonna say, so for future mission trips, we right now, the clinic, we'd like to get as many people over there as we can, of course, but we it's a long ways, like you said. It's a 2-day trip there and back, so we can't go every time. So the clinic we made available to the Italian Dental Society as well. So the Italian dentists go over there a couple times a year. They send 2 or 3 dentists over there to use our stuff, and usually use our supplies that we've sent over there. But I think our future trips are going to be probably centered around St. Gaspar's Day, which is the 3rd week of October. Usually October 21st is St. Gaspar's Day, and that's a good time to travel over there. The weather's good, and they do a lot of outreach to the local clinics or the local schools and communities that are around Itigi on that week anyways. And so I think for future trips, we're looking at that. And then we also, if we have a group big enough that's interested in going on a separate time, then we would just work on coordinating with them. And, we have Father Justin over there who is our boots on the ground over there, and he can help coordinate with us how that goes along. We have a master running list of all the supplies that are in the clinic. Dr. Joseph keeps us updated on his usage of supplies, what he needs. He sends over requests periodically, and then we send that out to our volunteers and see if there's anything that we can send over with the volunteers that go over.
That's cool.
As far as the future trips, we're looking at a couple a year probably in the future. And I think our next one's probably going to be October this next one's in a couple of weeks, but then after that, October of 2025.
Got it.
It's for sure we'll be leaving October or November next year, but we are looking. One of the things that's been so awesome about Mark, you and Smile Outreach International has been it's fulfilling part of the mission that we set up when we started really getting into the nuts and bolts of what the mission and the purpose of Dental Legacy Foundation, what that is. It was to collaborate with other groups like Smile Outreach International, right? And so what we would ideally do is we would like to have 9 trips over there a year. And that would not be Jared and I. Jared and I would maybe fulfill 1 or 2 of those, maybe 3 in the future. But the rest would be filled by either the Italian Dental Society and then people like you and your groups, where we really want to collaborate more with some of these other, nonprofits that are out there and these humanitarian aid groups. There's so many of them out there that have good missions, that we would love to say, hey, well, what about breaking it up this year and coming with us and going to Tanzania and vice versa, and, helping each other to out and to glean, just like we have from you, a lot of that trip in January was huge because of what we were able to learn, what you brought to the table and what we were able to implement from that collaborative effort. And so we would like to see more of that go on as well. So as a whole, our goal is to have 9 trips a year over there, either by way of through Jared and I or Ryan, through groups like yours, other groups, or just us coordinating. We know that there's a lot of people out there that they're not really organized in any formal way. They're not a 501c3 or whatever, but they are just a group of friends or colleagues that they like to go to different places and do good. And so we would love to meet them and collaborate with them and set them up for a successful trip to some pretty crazy places in Tanzania, as you can attest. I mean, that's what we would like to see happen moving forward.
Are you guys, you guys had great funders of the original infrastructure. As you continue to expand, are you guys in need of dental equipment and dental supplies and further kind of pipelines for that? Yeah,
absolutely. Yeah, we totally.
So
yeah, we're always, because having a clinic that's open or being used all the time with Dr. Joseph, they go through supplies pretty quickly, and so we try and keep them every time we go. We take as much as we can, but we always. Always looking to connect with in that pipeline of supplies and funds for equipment and so forth, because we're trying to help them have fantastic clinics over there, good dental experiences over there, and so that's we would love that.
Jared,
to tell you a quick story, Mark, that we had. When we were traveling through on our very first trip, we took the longest bus ride of our lives. We don't do this anymore, but we drove from the old capital, the largest city, and we took a really long bus ride through Tanzania. Basically got the bus tour of Tanzania, and we stopped in a city called Morogoro. And Morogoro is about 2 million people, I think. And we were meeting with some of the leadership there of the Society of the Precious Blood, which we work with, and the father that is in charge of that location. He begged us. He said, "Will you please come here and build a clinic?" He says, "If you will bring the supplies and the equipment, I will build the physical structure for you." And he's not alone. So we've had offers like that throughout Tanzania, through the Society of the Precious Blood. And we actually got approached by the state on this last visit to come and help them as well. So we have these different avenues, so we can always use donations, charitable givings, whatever you want to call it, on every front. We would love it.
Awesome. Jared, you came to mind when I was on a recent conversation with somebody from, let's just say, a dental school that you may or may not have been a student of. Okay, so I can't give out too many details because this was just a verbal kind of commitment. But this particular dental school is changing out all of their chairs, and they're going from 171 students to 271 students. They're changing out all of their chairs. So they offered all of their chairs to us. And I have no ability to warehouse or even move that many chairs, but they offered, some technology as well. A little bit aged, but also and very well cared for. So I will be taking as much as we can fit in our warehouse, and you are welcome to take that off of our hands and move it to Tanzania if you like.
Oh man, Mark, thank you. That's huge. That's awesome.
Yeah. So
That's so cool.
Yeah, these are just the strange little connections that you get if somebody just caught like an Instagram post. It's like, so social media can be used for good in certain circumstances. So that is something I'll commit to once it's confirmed. I will make sure that I get everything that you guys need.
Oh man, Mark, that's fantastic. Thank you.
Yes, of course, of course. So tell us a little bit about what's happening in Nicaragua. I can't wait to see you guys. I'm going to see you in February, I think. In Nicaragua.
Yeah, we're super excited to have you, Mark. So we in every February we do this. We do a retreat for dentists and spouses, and it's through our group called the Elevation Association, which is basically we're facilitators. We facilitate groups of peers who really meet regularly to plan life, leadership, and business growth goals. We review performance together. We enforce accountability. We share best practices, and then all this results in increased business value. A joyful life and a meaningful legacy. The stuff that we're talking about now. This is what we talk about. We talk about how to elevate your practice. Get things in order. Share what's working, what's not working, and then share ideas with dreams. What is your BHAG? What's your big, hairy, audacious goal? We get together with those moments, and then we also talk about life. Okay, how does that integrate with your life? How do you use that practice now? How do you use the abundance from that practice to really just live a meaningful, joyful life? And then what is the legacy that you want to leave? And we've had some very, very cool conversations. As a matter of fact, this whole Tanzania trip, this whole Dental Legacy Foundation came from one of these conversations. This came from a simple sit down. We were on a hike with Dr. Brad Smith, hiking up in the Sawtooths, and we simply got on this topic of leaving a legacy, these dental mission trips. And here we are 4 years later, running this Dental Legacy Foundation, which we had no intent of doing. We didn't start off saying, "Oh, hey, I want to start a humanitarian trip." It just rolled out like this. And so that's the power of collaboration, which is really hard for dentists to do sometimes. We live in we were bred in such a competitive environment. To get into dental school, once you're in dental school, you have to perform to get a certain amount, be in the top percentage of your class, whatever your competition was. That it's hard then to break away from that and to share openly, to allow yourself to be vulnerable. And so what we've done is Dan and I we created this environment where you're away from your practice. You step away from your practice. And not just for a weekend, not just for like 2 days, because that doesn't work. It's just not enough time. Mm-hmm. You step away from your practice, you get down to a location where you're in a small group. We're with 15, 20 dentists, and spouses. It's not that big. And then we break off into smaller groups than that. So you're allowed to be vulnerable and share your experiences and overcome, any sort of inadequacies that you may feel as a dentist, as we've all felt before. And then you talk about these things. And what's cool about this is it's not just a mastermind group. A mastermind group is awesome and they're valuable, but we have this pathway, if you will, for talking. We're great facilitators to discuss these leadership principles within your practice. We have a pathway to talk about, designing a life that you want to live, that you want to love. And then we have a pathway for really defining your legacy. And so, through these trips, let me share one example of a legacy that's been shared that was developed from this as well. As we have a good member friend in Elevation Solution in Texas who decided to give. He's like, I can't do a lot, but I can give a scholarship to a local high school student to study. And some sort of science, kind of preparation for biology or medical school or dental school or whatever. Mm-hmm. So he's been doing that for a couple of years now. And this last year he was out to eat and and the server came up to him and said, "Hey, are you Dr. Bemis?" And he said, "Yeah, I am." And he goes, and she said, "Thank you." She goes, "Because of your scholarship that I got in high school, I was able to go to college and study, this science. And I'm studying currently right now in college." And it was so cool because he had no idea who she was, but it was a legacy that he left, and it was a small thing, but it was all started because of these conversations that we've been having, and this collaborating with other people, bouncing ideas off of each other, and that's where stuff grows, and that's where the magic happens. And so we also do it a little differently, Mark, where we have spouses come, because we found that when Dan and I try to plan stuff, and then we decide on something, and then we go home and we tell our spouses, it usually changes. And so we thought that's a bad idea. So let's do this together with our spouses. If we're going to plan our life out, let's just do it together. So it's turned into this really cool couples retreat. We're going to be in Nicaragua this year, a 5-star, gorgeous, beautiful resort, where you're going to be able to surf. It's a little surf camp. You can sandboard down the dunes. You can, go through the jungle. Then you can do some mountain biking. You can just sit by the pool if you want to. It's whatever it is. And the way that we do it too, Mark, is we don't pack it full of 8 hours of class. So if you're going to go to Nicaragua, you're going to enjoy Nicaragua. That's how I feel.
Yeah.
And so we've got a couple classes a day, and that's about it. And they're at inconvenient hours, which means you're usually not doing something else. And so it works out. It works out well. It's a great experience. And we are incredibly fortunate to have Mark come. You're going to come and drop some incredible wisdom on us. And
I don't know about that.
It's going to be fantastic.
Well, thanks, man. That is awesome. I just can't even tell you how honored I am for the invite, and I can't wait for the experience. Nicaragua is a place I've always wanted to visit. So this year we're Nicaragua in February, and then we're doing Honduras for another mission trip with Smile Outreach in March. And then in April, Kay, the president of the Dental Success Companies, is getting married in Belize. So I'm going to be in that area of the world 3 months in a row, and it's going to be a really fun start to the year. So I can't wait.
Great.
Yeah. Well, fellas, I can't thank you enough for all that you do. It would be great if we could share your contact information, or at least the contact information for the Elevation Association and maybe for Dental Legacy as well, for people that are interested in getting more involved with what you guys do.
So elevationassociation.com is going to take you, as soon as you go to the page, the thing for Nicaragua, our CE event in Nicaragua will pop right up, our summit there. So if they want to get more information on that, it's really accessible just by logging on to elevationassociation.com. Our contacts are on the website as well. If someone's interested in doing some volunteer work, or just has questions about, more questions about either Elevation Association or Dental Legacy Foundation, they can go to obviously the Elevation Association webpage or to the dentallegacyfoundation.org webpage. Both of those, we can be contacted through either one of those pages. We like to think we're pretty dang accessible. Jared and I, even though we're juggling a lot, we try to be available to talk to anybody that just wants to chat. And whether it be, if they just want to talk shop even, we'd be happy to do that. Again, we really are strong believers in collaboration. So if there's something that someone wants to learn about or understand, or start their own 501c3 or whatever, we would be more than happy to have that conversation.
Awesome. Well, mark your calendars, because you guys are invited once again. The 13th and 14th of June this year is the summit. And then the 14th is our gala. We have a very cool theme that I have yet to announce. But it's going to be a whole lot of fun. We're looking to obviously pack the room like we did in the first 2 years. So I would love to have you guys there, and you can come as my personal guest if you can make the date work.
Oh, we'll make it work, man. We won't miss that. It was awesome. We'll be there.
All right. Sounds great. All right, ladies and gentlemen, Dr. Jared Hill and Dr. Dan Nelson. Take care, fellas. Thank you so much.